Hi everyone, my name is Alexis Michelle, and I'm going to be discussing the application of kefir in frozen desserts. Kefir is a fermented milk beverage made by bacteria and yeast found in the kefir grain. Kefir originates from the Caucasus Mountains but has been a traditional product consumed in Eastern Europe, Russia, and Southwest Asia. Kefir is known for its distinct flavor, which is due to the yeast and its effervescence effect in the mouth. Minor constituents of kefir that contribute to its flavor include diacetyl, acetaldehyde, and ethyl. Also, amino acids contribute to the flavor composition. Kefir is known for its health benefits, including a good source of health promoting bacteria and protein. Functional foods are foods with health benefits beyond their basic nutrition. The demand for functional foods has increased because of consumer awareness of the effects of food on health. And the application of kefir in frozen dessert production has increased in response to consumer demand, but its physical and chemical effects are still under investigation. Ice cream is a delicious frozen dairy product that has no functional food properties. The ice cream industry is challenged with the production of fermented ice cream products that mask the flavor of yogurt. Some research has shown that ice cream containing kefir has a higher pH and viscosity and a decreased freezing point and melting point. And the purpose of this research is to explore consumer acceptance of frozen desserts, replacing regular cow's milk with kefir. Kefir is known for its many health benefits, including anti-allergenic properties, antimicrobial properties, GI health, and anti-carcinogenic properties. And in this illustration, we can see on the bottom right key the components of kefir that aid in the health benefits. Kefir grains provide a very important step in the production of kefir. The, the grains provide a natural starter culture in the production, and they're kept after the fermentation process by milk straining, which is shown in the figure on the right. The grains can range in size from 0.3 to 3 centimeters in diameter and have multilobular surfaces, and they're white to yellow in color and have an elastic, viscous feel. The grains are composed of yeast and bacteria on a polysaccharide and protein matrix, and these microorganisms thrive and influence each other in order to provide the synthesis of bioactive components, which is essential for the grain growth. And in the picture on the left, it's a scanning electron microscopy of the Brazilian kefir grain microbiota. And in A, C, and E, we see the outer grain portions, and B, D, and F show the inner grain portions. Here I will be discussing the microbial interactions of yeast and bacteria within the kefir grain. Yeast and bacteria are interdependent and complex. When bacteria is separated from the grain, yeast does not grow as efficiently. Lactococcus tends to grow faster than yeast in milk because it metabolizes lactose more efficiently. Lactococcus hydrolyzes lactose, which produces lactic acid and an environment for yeast growth. Another example of this is that yeast also synthesize B vitamins and hydrolyze milk proteins by using oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and ethanol. Yeast and lactic acid bacteria interact and compete for nutrients or produce metabolites which may inhibit or stimulate each other. In the figure to the left, we see the production of lactic acid bacteria in kefir fermentation over a span of 24 hours, which increases. This conversion lowers the pH and aids in milk preservation. Yeast, non-lactose fermenting yeast, and acetic acid are all responsible for the fermentation of lactose, which produces carbon dioxide and ethanol. In this process, kefir grains also increase in about 5 to 7% of their biomass after fermentation. There are three methods of kefir production, which are the artisanal process, the commercial process, or the Russian method, which is used in larger scale kefir production, and the commercial process using pure start cultures. And other substrates such as milk from other animal species, coconut milk, soybean milk, fruit juices, and sugar and molasses solutions can be used to make the kefir beverage. The artisanal production involves milk inoculation with fermentation for about 18 to 24 hours at 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, and it's stored at 4 degrees Celsius and then it's ready for consumption. The inoculum of the grains alters the pH, viscosity, lactose concentration, and the microbiological profile of the beverage. During fermentation, agitation of the product influences kefir microbiological composition and results in the production of homofermentative lactococci and yeast. The application of kefir in frozen desserts has been proven by research as a great foundation for fermented milk and probiotics because of its matrix of proteins, fats, lactose, and other compounds. The main products of kefir fermentation are lactic acid, ethanol, and carbon dioxide, which is why it results in a viscous and acidic frozen dessert that has a low alcohol content. Research has given many examples of methods of kefir production that may affect overall consumer acceptability of the product. Some examples include the different ratios of starter cultures, such as lactic acid bacteria, yeast, and acetic acid bacteria, when isolated from the grain, has been accepted more often than kefir from the starter culture. Another study showed the beverage produced with the starter culture from microorganisms isolated from kefir grains was more accepted than the traditional beverage. And another study showed that when a kefir beverage is prepared without the use of the volatile components found in traditional kefir, the viscosity is lower and less desirable. The primary deficiency in kefir production that can be attributed to its unfavorable taste and vinegar aroma is the type of yeast, which can be caused by overproduction of Saccharomyces cerevisiae. The overproduction of acetic acid can also contribute to the undesirable aroma, which occurs because of the presence of Acetobacter or Decara in the grains. Some atypical yeast activity in fungi such as Geotrichum candidum may result in a bitter taste in the product. The kefir ice cream flavors decreased in protein content, lipid content, ash content, and carbohydrate content, and increased in moisture compared to the pineapple commercial ice cream product. Kefir ice cream compared to commercial ice cream resulted in physical characteristics such as a decreased freezing point, a decreased melting point, and an increased overrun percentage. The freezing point was expected to decrease due to the amount, the type, and the molecular weight of solutes in ice cream. The increased overrun percentage can be attributed to the exopolysaccharides produced by microorganisms during fermentation. Higher overrun percentages are favorable because it inhibits the production of ice crystals, which increases the melting point and foam stability during storage. The higher viscosity in the kefir ice cream mixes can be attributed to protein precipitation in response to the acidic environment compared to excess mix whipping rate and a less stable ice cream mix. In conclusion, a study comparing the commercial ice cream to Kefir ice cream acceptability scored on a 9-point hedonic scale a 6, which meant they at least slightly liked the product. Also, on the 9-point scale, consumers rated the flavor of the Kefir ice cream to be a 7, which is moderately liking the flavor. The results of sensory analysis shows that it is possible to produce a functional food ice cream product such as Kefir ice cream that is similar in physical and chemical characteristics to commercial ice cream. Further research can be done to formulate a product with a more desirable texture similar to ice cream and less acidic flavors and aromas. From a technology point of view, consumers will prefer Kefir ice cream products because of their increased overrun percentages and higher melting points, which can create a more shelf-stable, temperature-resistant product compared to commercial ice creams. And these differences allow consumers to consume the product without structure changes over time.